The original idea for this video was to make a top list of takeaways I got from CEO 2013, but the longer I try to write the script, the more arbitrary the entries seem to get. Instead, I want to focus on the only thing I felt truly mattered, something Logan said while on commentary. It's the title of the video, so you should already know what I want to talk about.
And we were talking about this when we were in the arena on Friday night, but two things that are not real in this game, blocking and burnout, the two Bs.
It was a quick line between the winner's semifinal set of X-Set IDOG and the eventual winner of the tournament, Mena RD. There are two things that don't exist in this game, blocking and burnout. It's a phrase that, taken out of context, could take you down a dangerous path as you continue your Street Fighter 6 journey. Welcome to the dojo. My name is YohDood, and in this video, we're going to talk about the details behind this statement and what's being said. Blocking is fundamental to your defense, especially early on in your journey. It's said that the best offense is a good defense, and that holds true for this game as well as any other. Previously, we mentioned how being at a disadvantage was possibly the worst time to press buttons, how we should trust our defense and get back to neutral before trying to play the game again. The thing is, there's always more options to explore when you're ready to lab them out. Maybe that should be a future tips video. There's no shortcut for actual matchup experience in any fighting game. Knowing what your opponent will likely do and acting accordingly is important. That is at the core of what we're talking about when we say that blocking doesn't exist. Blocking is an easy defensive option to utilize, but it's not the most efficient choice to make in any situation. If you've ever had the displeasure of playing against an annoying Blanka player, you know how difficult it is to punish his rolling attack. The dreaded Blanka ball is seemingly impossible to penetrate on block and can be really hard to react to in a match. So what gives? If all we do is block this move, he'll use it for the entire match without repercussion. The answer is actually very simple. Some of you may already be putting it in the comments or shouting at your screen. If you parry the ball, you'll have more opportunity to lock the Beast Boy down. Better still, if you can learn to perfect parry heavy balls from full screen, you can get a legit punish counter and teach your opponent that you're prepared to shut down that option entirely. It isn't easy, and you won't always be consistent, but learning how to shut down seemingly safe options like this is important for your Street Fighter 6 journey. The same is true for literally any move you just can't seem to defend well against. Overhead options, command grabs, tricky mix-ups, JP's nonsense super. This isn't to say that the answer will always be parry, but there is counterplay for everything. We must lab out answers for things we couldn't defeat in the match, rather than be the next victim of Scrub_X on Twitter. Don't be like these people. Seriously. It's a hard pill to swallow, but if you're losing to something you believe to be cheap or scrub behavior, it might be best to look inward. It's not on your opponent to play at a level you deem acceptable. You have to deal with players that utilize cheap or annoying tactics. If it ain't broke, it's up to you to break their options. It's up to you to know how to respond to things. It's up to you to lab what you can't figure out in game. The other B that doesn't exist in Street Fighter 6 is burnout. Your drive gauge is the most important resource you can manage in this game. Using parries, drive rush, DI, and blocking will all take chunks of your drive gauge to perform. Once it's exhausted, you will enter a burnout state. In burnout, you can still do specials and supers, but you won't have the ability to use overdrive specials, drive rush, drive reversal, or drive impact. You'll recover 4 frames slower from block stun, you do less damage overall, and you'll take chip damage from all DI, specials, and supers your opponents use. Universally, you need to familiarize yourself with what tools your characters will need to use the most. Burnout is definitely not a fun place to be in the slightest, so you'll need to be extra careful when spending your drive gauge, right? Well, no. In some cases, it can even be used recklessly. It depends on a few different factors, like your opponent's characters, what we're spending the drive gauge for, and if we're willing to be in Burnout for exchange for better positioning. Will triggering Burnout win us the round? Consider the character your opponent is playing. If they play a character like Zangief, whose specials include Lariat, command grabs, there isn't much fear in terms of chip. If using the bar can win you the round, there shouldn't be any hesitation, because dropping the burnout combo could very well spell disaster for you, and we don't want to give away any rounds. Sometimes it could be worth it to enter burnout to escape the corner or get that desperation rush down deep into round 3 against Dawson, JP, or Guile. The risk may end up being worth the reward. Do keep in mind that we call it a risk for a reason though. It isn't guaranteed. Very little is in fighting games. There's just as much chance as your gambit failing as it has to succeed. At the end of the day, saying blocking and burnout don't exist is just a way to help you be comfortable spending your resources. Drive gauge, super meter, time limit, your health, and positioning are all your main resources to barter with. Your goal in the round is to take away your opponent's health before they do the same to you. So it doesn't matter if you win with 100% or only 1% of your life remaining. A win is a win. We all want to win. Take your losses in stride, Get salty if you must, but be sure to actually practice the things you have a hard time against. Throw loops aren't cheap. Spamming headbutt isn't cheap. Playing with monitor controls isn't cheap. They're a skill check. If you keep losing, you need to go back into the lab and figure out what your character can do about it. We don't just lose a game and move on. We lose a game and we learn from it. We come back stronger and better next time we're up against the thing we lost to. And we don't deflect our losses on anyone but ourselves. That's the dojo way. Thank you for watching. I'll be making a takeaway video after every major tournament, so please subscribe for more videos like this one. Until then, I'm YohDood, and I'll catch you next time.